and he deserves a fair trial. And I think the evidence that I know about, if presented in court, will demonstrate that he didn't commit the crime.
Do you think the death penalty is only wrong for people who are innocent?
No. I believe that the death penalty is wrong for anybody, all people. I believe we dehumanize ourselves when we go through the process of dehumanizing another. Let me also add, you mentioned something about the Supreme Court. The case is being brought by the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office, and they are trying, because a federal judge overturned the penalty phase of the trial, saying that it was inappropriately run, so that the death penalty was no longer on the table. They said either you have to retry the death penalty aspect of the trial, or accept that he's going to have life without parole as his sentence. Now, none of us want that to happen. We all want the case to be retried, but the entire case, not just the penalty phase. So it's Lynn Abraham's District Attorney's Office in Philadelphia that is one of the most killing machines in the country, that is now trying to get that lower federal court's decision on the penalty phase overturned.
One of the most killing and one of the most racist, I think.
Yes.
Biggest racial disparity.
She's about to retire, and those running are pledging to get Maria killed.
Oh, sure. Well, it's really a hot button issue in Philadelphia.
One more. We have time, I think, for one more here in the. Oh, all right, two more. This one and that one. Oh, and that one. Three more. That's it. Nobody else put up their hands.
Why do you think that there's never been an attempt to make MASH in a contemporary way now? I mean, there's plenty of opportunities, but it's never been done. I mean, is it because MASH said it all, or is it that no one's got the guts to do it now? I think your second suggestion is the one. I don't think there's the courage in the business today to do it. They did a show about the Vietnam War, China Beach, that some say was sort of a MASH-esque show. I know Steve Bochco, thank you, tried to do a show about Iraq, in fact, and it didn't last very long. There's very little appetite on the part of the network. Networks in television today are running scared about simply falling apart. Their audience is diminishing regularly, so they don't want to offend anybody. And unfortunately, the cables are, generally speaking, just kind of copying the networks. So I don't see any really cutting-edge work being done, particularly in the area of politics.
In the hoodie and then the blue check shirt. Oh, all right, the other way around.
Oh, sorry.
I'm very amenable. It's all right.
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Yeah, I heard about you because she beat me to the question about the Mamiya question. I've been working on the case for a while. And I saw your name on it, and I was surprised when I saw the show. I was like, wow, this guy actually is something beyond just an actor. And I was wondering where that came from, because I assume maybe from the Vietnam era. I was wondering if you're aware of Sidney Sheen in Pittsburgh, what happened to her. Because apparently they have this new device where they point it at protesters and it affects your hearing, and disturbs your hearing.
Laura seems to know about that.
I'm unaware. I have the article. I'll give it to you.
I spoke to Cindy a week ago. Okay. This has just happened recently?
Yeah, I was at the Pittsburgh Summit, the G20. Oh. Apparently this is a device that has been worked on by the military, and now they're going to use it on civilians.
Wow.
And they've been hiding it. It's a device that destroys your hearing. They aim it at you, and it could destroy your hearing if it's aimed long enough.
They have. Thanks for the question. They
I just say one last thing.
They have been using it on civilians.
Right.
They've been using it for 5 years on civilians in Basra, Fallujah.
But they said in Pittsburgh.
And this was the first time they've used it on the streets of the United States in Pittsburgh.
Out there, they said that now they want to test it in other cities.
I'm sure. I think that was a
test.
And
just last thing. I'm sorry. This is how bad the homeless problem is. I have gotten tickets every day for being homeless. And the Democrats, believe me, are not any better. They actually had a tent city they wanted to try in Florida, and people rejected it. There was a war on homeless people that I would suggest maybe you should look into, and maybe just try being homeless one day if you want to, under the skies, obviously. And I think I Love Lucy. She did a movie about it. It was very good.
All right, great. Thanks very much.
So, sorry.
One last question, and then we'll let Mike wrap up.
Maybe you can answer about that.
Yes. First I want to thank you for making a great TV movie many years ago called The Questor Tapes.
Thank you.
You were part of Gene Roddenberry's vision of using the media to portray human values, and I really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
And somewhat related, this Saturday, the 17th, is the 70th anniversary of the premiere of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington,
Wow.
which was another landmark. And I just like to think of you helping remind people that these great portrayals are out there, and if you can, maybe suggest that people watch Mr. Smith in honor of the 70th anniversary and help get the Questor tapes re-released, that would be a terrific way to keep the media side going. But as far as your activism goes, I'd just like to thank you for that, and Laura, with the media piece as well. I'm concerned that we hear only about fixing the bad stuff which needs to be fixed, but there's work being done by people like Amory Lovins at the Rocky Mountain Institute and William McDonough, who's got this new industrial model that's good to Mother Nature. And you hear these stories maybe once in a blue moon in a Sunday supplement, but you don't get them covered regularly the way we cover all the negative things which deserve to be covered regularly. But there's sort of this yin-yang balance I'm trying to imagine us doing, and I would like to ask your thoughts on a balanced presentation of the world by the media so that we hear more optimistic stories on a regular basis, not just a Sunday supplement. Thanks very much.
Well, thank you for that. My thoughts on it, I think it'd be great. I'm not quite sure. The media is under the control in significant part of, in most part, of the business interests. Ralph Nader once said, this is the public's airwaves, and we really need to remind ourselves that the public owns the airwaves, and we need to have access to information that is not necessarily siphoned through the filter of this media with their own agendas. It starts with what I think with what Laura's doing and other people who are doing it as well, who say there's a way to do this, there's a way to get access and get people information without going through the big three or the big five or whatever they are.
Not so big. I will say that you might like GRITtv because we do believe in platforming solutions. And that with the crisis that we're facing on the ecological front, on the economic front, on the diplomatic front, I'm hearing rumblings of lifeboats out there. If we've been going down, if we've been sinking, I do believe there have been people building lifeboats, and they're beginning to be released. And we're trying to platform some of those new types of doing business, social capital, socially conscious businesses, new types of organizing communities, including tent cities and some of the extraordinary actions people are taking all over this country to take back housing that is unoccupied and put homeless people in that housing. We're going to be bringing Max Rameau from Miami to New York to talk about the takeover movement in Florida that's bigger than the legislators can really fight. And it wasn't just Ralph Nader that said the airwaves are the public's. It was the Supreme Court. And it's true. And it was good thing that Ralph reminded us, but we need to fight for it because we are in a situation now where public television is inadequately supported and therefore endlessly on its knees to corporations and the Congress. And we have a fight on our hands now to keep this tool of the Internet, which gives us at least something of a batting arm, to keep it neutral and open to all. So I'll leave with that. I will encourage people to sign the mailing list that we have going around for GRITtv, but come up, buy books, or rather have Mike and I sign books, and you buy them downstairs. I want to thank the Strand one more time and thank Luke for being here with the audio-visual devices and Ariel for being such a great Phil Donahue today. And thank you, everybody, for coming out. Here's Mike.
Thank you, and just go up there and get your book signed.
Pardon me? Oh, sure.